Hard to believe, but fifth gear is now 20 years old. So to celebrate the occasion, we've come up with some rather special shootouts involving cars that grabbed our attention back in 2002 and putting them up against their modern-day counterparts around the track. We want to find out how far the game has moved on, and as usual, a timed lap will see how they compare. This time, we've gathered two of the world's most legendary names when it comes to sports coupes, both of which are Japanese. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Nissan 350Z and the latest Toyota Supra. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. I know I will. We'll start with the olden. Nissan, then under the guise of Datsun, launched its first Z car in 1969. Z meant sporty. And whilst not every Z car was a blinding success, this fifth generation one ticked all the right boxes. The 350Z first appeared on UK shores in 2003, however. Fifth Gear managed to grab the keys a year earlier during a trip to the States. It's fair to say we liked it, and so did the public. 4,000 lucky UK buyers registered their interest before it even went on sale, and then they paid just £24,000 for the privilege, which was half the price of a Porsche 911 then. But you certainly didn't get half the performance. The 3.5-litre V6 puts out 280 horsepower with no turbo. And although it is as beefy as it looks in the weight department at around 1,500 kilograms, it can still scoot to 62 in 5.9 seconds and on to 155. And before you complain that the particular car I have has an additional boot spoiler, today that won't really make a difference to the performance. Often, the simple recipes are the best. A big, normally aspirated engine up front, a rear-wheel drive chassis and a 6-speed gearbox. And oh, what a gearbox. I had forgotten just how brilliant this is. It's short, it's precise, it's neat, it's pucker. I wish every gearbox felt like this. Thankfully, the car is not too basic, and Nissan threw in ABS and traction control to help tame the brute. Though access to a track allows me a little more freedom. So I have turned the traction control off, but I still have to be a little careful. Oh. Well, not that careful. The instruction to the car's designers from Nissan's head honchos was, it should look the way it drives and drive the way it looks. I love this car! It certainly satisfies the brief from where I'm sitting. Oh, yes, old friend, I have missed you. Oh, the joy and the excitement that this car gives me is exactly the same as it was when I first drove one. And also, this car has just got that extra little bit of steering lock that when you're sideways and you think, oh, I can't do it anymore, the car just gives you a little bit more steering and then you can hold on to that slide. Yes, I remember that really, really well. Anyway, to business. Time for a hot lap. Here we go. Such a strong engine. I need to be neat and tidy and not slidey. Oh my gosh. Brakes, I would like them to be a little bit beefier actually, particularly around a circuit. Oh. The Nissan 350Z crosses the line in 55.2 seconds. Time for the Supra. On to a modern day car now, and if you're wondering why we're not comparing the old Z to a new Z, it's because, well, Nissan doesn't make them anymore. Well, it does, but none that are available in Blighty.
In fact, the Japanese car manufacturers have just about given up making sports coupes these days, apart, that is, from Toyota.
The Supra name first appeared on a Celica in 1978. However, in 1986, the Supra had its own designated model, and 4 versions were made until 2002, when Toyota had a little snooze.
Then, in 2019, they woke up again and started making this.
Well, I say making loosely because a large chunk of this car is BMW. The Z4, to be exact.
Yes, underneath me, the engine, running gear, suspension, brakes are all very German. And, for that matter, a lot of the electrics inside the car.
Of course, Toyota has tuned the car a little differently, and the bodywork is a world away from the BMWs. And you can't get a coupe in the Z4, so if you want a tin top over your head, then this is the car to have.
This Supra was initially launched with a 3-litre engine, but recently Toyota has added this, a 2-litre model, and at £48,000, it's £8,000 cheaper.
And of course, unsurprising in this day and age, it is turbocharged.
In case you are wondering, the noise it makes is augmented. But before I get too dismayed, let's check it out. First impressions aren't great.
I'm missing the dramatics. I feel so much more disconnected to the road than I did in the 350Z. I feel like I'm sort of floating on top of a bit of a duvet.
Nevertheless, this car is a lot quicker. Although it has a bit less power than the 350Z at around 260 horsepower, it's 130 kilos lighter, so has a superior power-to-weight ratio. Like the Nissan, it's also rear-wheel drive. However, 0 to 62 is dispatched in 5.2 seconds, which is 0.7 seconds faster than the older car.
That lighter engine also helps the weight distribution, so it's 50-50 front and rear, which is perfect in many people's books. As for the gearbox, there is no manual option, so you have to make do with this 8-speed one, which is a pretty slick and quick affair. Supra in Latin means to surpass or to go beyond. So, will this Toyota surpass the lap time of the Nissan 350Z?
Start the clock.
The brakes are much bolder and stronger.
By the first checkpoint, the Supra is 1.7 seconds ahead of the Nissan.
Oh, it's definitely quicker. Definitely. Oh yeah, the brakes are so much better.
By the second checkpoint, the newer car's lead has grown to 3.2 seconds.
This car is very neat and tidy and precise.
Stop the clock. The Toyota Supra crosses the line in 50.46 seconds, which is 4.7 seconds faster than the 350Z. If it's entertainment you're after, the Nissan is still the car to go for. But when it comes to outright speed, there's no denying the Supra is superior, particularly in the braking department, and shows how far Japanese coupes have progressed in 20 years. Don't forget, if you like what you see, remember to click the subscribe button for the Fifth Gear YouTube channel to be the first to see our latest content. And maybe drop us a comment below if there's a shootout that you'd love to see.